Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stassi. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so excited to have the wonderful ladies behind the Clutter Wars here today, and we get to learn more about the Clutter Wars. Not only am I very excited for this podcast, I am excited for the host of this podcast, which is the Awful Gaymer. Thank you, Alex, for coming back here today and being an amazing host.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome to come host this anytime. Like literally anytime you want to come host, you give me a call. But I'm very excited to learn a little bit more about the Clutter Wars. And before we dive in and learn a little bit more, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you ladies because it's the first timers, which I always love. So why don't we start off with Pacific Creative? Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Pacific. My pronouns are she, her, and I host a cozy corner of the internet where we mostly play The Sims on Twitch, but we also play a few other cozy games, Disney Dream Light Valley, Palia, that kind of thing. By day, I am a marketer. I build websites and help businesses grow. And then 3 times a week, I stream on Twitch, and we are the Squirrel Scouts, and we love everything squirrels. And we have a fun time.
I love that. I appreciate your cat in the background of the chair. If my cat did that, I don't know what I would do. I think I would die. My cat, after 5 years of owning her, has finally decided that like I'm not a monster anymore. Like I'm okay. And that we can sit on the same couch together. That's a stretch.
Improvements, small improvements. It's cats, right? They don't do anything fast except zoomies.
Oh,
exactly.
No,
this is Phoebe.
Hi,
she's my
Phoebe.
kitty. She's old.
Hi, Phoebe. For anybody listening, what type of cat is that?
She's a tortie.
She's a tortie. Very nice. Very, very nice. Well, Pacific Creative, thank you for coming. Okay.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I know we rehearsed. I know we practiced before, but Quivy, hey?
It's Quiv, hey.
Quiv, hey. Okay.
You're
Quiv,
good.
hey.
That's how I say it in my head every time.
Yeah, it's all Quiv, hey.
It's perfect.
Welcome. Why don't you tell us a
Hello.
little about yourself?
I am Quiv. I use she, her pronouns. I am actually both relatively new to streaming. It's been maybe a year. And to the Sims community, I think I found my group here not even 9 months ago. And in that time, we have grown immensely as friends. And I was bullied into the Clutter Wars. It started as an idea, right? Mm-hmm. And then it took off on its own. And here we are. So I'm not super interesting. I have 4 cats. That's it.
and you have some dope Halloween
I do have some very
you.
Interesting decorations, yeah.
I appreciate Mr. Jack Skeleton behind you.
Yeah, I've got all of them. I just swap them out as we go.
Love it. Last but not least, Mr. NicholeMakes. How are you?
NicholeMakes.
NicholeMakes.
I do make a lot of things.
I love
sometimes.
Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
I am very creative. I just don't actually do anything with said creativity.
That's so true. Don't let her lie.
I hear lies. Yeah, I hear.
Says the one who says I'm not that much going on. I'm just Quiv. You're amazing, kind, talented, brilliant.
Yeah, I never said I didn't do anything with my creativity.
So is the lovely creative. I'm odd for both of these ladies, so I know.
I love it, Nichole. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Nichole. She, her. I build. I sadly don't know a lot about the actual game, but I can build. And I'm still learning there. Funny enough, I was looking back. I met you through Instagram for like a Harry Potter collab that I didn't follow through with.
That is okay.
Because I got nervous because I was like, I'm not good enough. And so I'm just not going to do this. And then like I had only my husband to talk to about the game. And he's like, you're so good. You should stream, you should play or do videos. So I got into Twitch with his pushing. And then that's where I met Pacific and then Quiv and the lovely Alex. So that is me.
I love
photographer and mom.
Okay, because I was gonna say, because like we've checked up a couple conversations now, and I remember you from that Harry Potter collab, which was Ooh,
2021.
2021. That was really before I really knew what I was doing in my life, and I used to actually build and do things before just podcasts.
Same here.
Right?
I started on Instagram, and then I saw like people were streaming, and I was like, maybe I should do this because like YouTube and podcasting, that takes a lot of work and effort. Where this is like I get to go on and hang out with my friends and be like, okay, bye.
For the record,
Done.
I say Nichole is the best kept secret in Sims building. Her builds are amazing. Do not let her downplay her skills. She's got mad skills.
So what I'm saying is you need to enter the next time the Builders games comes around is what you need to enter.
Let GB know I was interested and I joined the Discord, so I'm ready.
There you go. I don't know when it'll be coming back, but she'll be coming back so hopefully soon. But Nichole, thank you so much for coming. Last but not least, my amazing host this evening, Mr. Alex, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun. It's always fun to cause chaos here.
It's 100%. I appreciate you causing chaos on my podcast anytime. Well, Alex, before we stop, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Alex, or the Awful Gamer, today the Awful Podcaster. I am a Sims. We've talked about the Awful Podcast.
100%.
It's not happening. But I am a maybe.
Go ahead.
I'm a Sims content creator on YouTube, Instagram, on Twitch, and ultimately I'm just here to cause chaos in gameplay and be an awful builder, and that's what I'm here for. So I think I've accomplished both.
Amazing.
I love that. I was actually talking to Disney this week. They were like, we both agree that you need to start the Awful Podcast.
Listen. I'll just, you know what, you've got like Saucy J Unplugged, a Sims podcast.
Yeah,
we can have real life, and then we'll just do a third branch under yours that is just like the Awful Podcast where everything is awfully chaotic.
100%. I'm more than happy to add another branch. There's now 4 branches for Stassi, which I've just started setting up for stuff for season 3 this week, which I'm very excited to start filming season 3 shortly. But as season 2 continues to go on. Well, I think this is a perfect time to let Alex take over. Come on in, sit to the hosting seat, and take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you. Go enjoy some food.
Yes.
All right. Well, hello, y'all. I'm so happy to have y'all here and that we're able to do this. I know that Stassi said to like introduce yourself, say hi, tell us a little about yourself, but let's do a little bit more. So there's the 3 of you on here. There are 4 judges to the Clutter War.
Yes.
Do we want to do an introduction for our lovely captain?
Pacific, you're very good at words.
Oh boy, no pressure on that one, not at all. Yeah, so Captain Amelia is our other judge, and she was unable to be here. She just moved, so she's kind of in the middle of a chaotic mess at the moment. So we're like, we're not going to pressure you to have to be here. It's fine. Captain actually just started streaming herself, but she is an amazing builder in The Sims. The amount of rooms that she can fit into any shell is absolutely insane. Like her use of color, her like the way she spaces things out. And she's an amazing clutterer as well. Yeah. So having her on board has been really great because she sees things through that lens that we all kind of bring our own unique perspectives with our own type of building. And she's like the 4th piece of that puzzle in a lot of ways. So she's super kind, she's super amazing, she's super wonderful. And it's Captain with a K, Amelia, and she also streams on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. We couldn't have the Clutter Wars without the 4 of y'all. The 4 of y'all that started it.
No, it was Quiv. No, it was Quiv. This was Quiv's brainchild. Nichole pushed her into it, and then I got a message going, "Hey, we're doing this thing. Do you want in?" And I was like, "Sure." So that's how that
bullied.
You were friendly bullied into doing your idea.
It started as a joke. I was sitting there streaming, and I was like, "Oh, we should." Pacific thinks she's the queen of clutter, but I am. Oh, that's how it started. And that's how it started. I was shading Pacific.
Because I was up there for that, so that's good to know.
Pacific is as a mod we made Captain and I both mod for Pacific, and we made the Hail the Clutter Queen for Pacific's channel because she's stunning at Clutter as well. And yeah, that's where it began. She's like, well, I can clutter too. And then she's like, we should have a clutter off. And then that's where it was born.
I will say
We
I like the
still-
name Clutter Wars better than Clutter Off.
Thank
That's
you.
true. And we still haven't figured out who the best clutter is amongst the judges because we judge. It's me.
Maybe. Oh,
I don't know, because we all bring our own different types of
Yeah.
clutter to it.
Mhm.
Like I think that the way that we see clutter, and that's one of the things that's been so
Yes.
interesting about the Clutter Wars in general, is the entries that we see. It's so interesting to see how people perceive clutter, how they use the space, and things of that nature.
Whether it's knickknacks, art, trash, like it's bugs. It's
Poop,
everywhere.
sometimes we've seen poop.
Oh,
We've
that
seen
was
poop.
fun.
Yeah, that was a shitty build.
The most shitty bill, but it was amazing at the same
Yeah,
time.
it was really good.
So it sounds like we need to have like season 7 be like the judge off, where all of the judges come in and the previous winners from each season are like the judges of each competition.
That sounds
Maybe
fun.
like an off-season spinoff.
Maybe.
I like it. I like it. Well, we've been talking about it. So what is the Clutter Wars? Like what is it? For those of us listening that don't know, because looking at all 3 of your backgrounds, there is clutter galore. I could argue that all 3 of you are clutter royalty in The Sims after watching you build and in real life from everything I can see. So what
you
is
only
the
see
Clutter
part of my
Wars?
office, so
I blurred
Exactly.
my clutter. Behave.
Clutter Wars is really, as far as I'm concerned, it's really simple. It's just supposed to be a fun little building competition. We present you with the room and 3 to 5 mandatory items. Why mandatory items? Because it is a challenge, right? We want to see what you can do with what we give you. And then you take those items in that space and you turn it into whatever you want. We're just looking to see, does the clutter fit whatever theme you have put forward for your build? So if you're a minimalist, is your clutter fitting that minimalist clutter aesthetic? Are you a maximalist? Did you maximize that clutter in your maximalist aesthetic? And it like Pacific had said, everybody approaches it so differently. It's really interesting to see all the rooms.
And this year we've taken a different take. So last season, of which our friend Alex was the winner for the record. So don't let him fool you.
Listen.
Okay.
The awful builder.
You still won. Okay.
You still won.
Amazing
Last
clutterer.
season we just, because we had just introduced it, we didn't have a ton of people enter. And so we just produced so many rooms one at a time and said, here's a room, clutter it, have at it, use these items, build this room. This year we took a different approach. We decided, well, what if this year they had to sort of continue a story? Because even though last year it was really cool, what people did with the rooms, like there was a bathroom that was turned into a police office, or in one case, a crime scene. Alex.
That was a crazy build.
It was amazing.
Office.
You took the first room that was just supposed to be like a study and you turned it into a whole lofted tiny home,
Yeah.
Like people used these rooms because they weren't really a continuation one after the other. So this season we thought, well, not only do more people know about it now, and so we had a bunch more people enter, excuse me, but we were like, what if they had to continue the story and make it cohesive through the whole thing? So this season, we actually have an entire house built. And so each room connects, and we're hoping to watch the story be cohesive through an entire build. And in some ways, I think it's an advantage. And in some ways, I think it's a disadvantage. And that's part of the fun of it. You can't just be like, oh, this one is a voodoo room, and then this next one's gonna be a jungle room, and this one's and this one's a spa, this is a teenager's room. Like they actually need to have a story that continues through an entire build. And we are introducing the rooms one at a time. We're not telling them what room is next, we're telling them how it connects. But I really think the first round there were some people who this is their first chance seeing the Clutter Wars. They hadn't seen it before. And they entered a room, but then other people had maybe done Clutter Wars before or seen Clutter Wars. And so they had what they did with the rooms and what like the first people did were so different. And I think being able to see kind of what they were up against really is going to elevate the next round we're preparing for.
Mm-hmm.
So
We had 13 amazing, wonderful people, including Alex, join the first round. Like those are our friends who like really supported this little idea and made it grow. And then with word of mouth, and Alex is talking it up all the time. Like it's really, really grown to the point now we had what, 28, I
Yeah,
think,
28.
follow
Yep.
through and turn in their first room. And I'll be in like a relatively big stream, and they'll be like, "Oh, you should enter Clutter Wars." I'm like, "Holy crap, people are talking about it. Like, what
It's
is happening?"
crazy.
And then I'd be like, "I'm a judge." And they're like, "No way." It's amazing.
It's crazy how fast it spread through the community. Like it really started off as this little like, let's do this fun little thing. And now we have a Discord, and we just opened up like a TikTok and a Twitter, and we have an Instagram. All of this because I was lovingly bullied into doing things.
Oh,
So
you were
thank you,
lovingly
Nicole.
bullying Pacific. Be like, "I'm bad."
It's true. It's true. It was a bully.
Thank you,
Listen.
Nicole. Thank you for standing up for me.
It was amazing though.
I love the back and forth to lead to bullying into Clutter Wars to now like the widespread of this. And I will say for everyone listening, if me, the awful builder, can win the Clutter Wars, anyone can do it. So that's why you should enter. I know we're in the middle of season 2 when this comes out, but when season 3 comes, you absolutely need to enter because, like I said, if I can do it, literally anyone can.
I will say season 3 is already here, and it is a
Ooh.
whole different ball game for people. You guys just don't know.
No, I'm scared.
Yeah, it's so much unknown that Nicole and I don't even know.
Nope.
So what does that tell you?
I think I know a little bit because she's discussed it, but like I think I got scared. And
Well, then I'm the odd one out. I'll just sit
I
over
know.
here and drink my tea.
Nicole knows just a little bit, but yeah, I think it's fun, and I think people, because everybody has such different ideas of clutter, I just want to like throw out there as judges, we're not looking at who has the most stuff in the smallest space. And I think some people have it in their head when they hear clutter, they have to pack all this stuff in. If you look at any streamer's background, 99% of the time, that's clutter. And it's not jam-packed full of stuff. Yeah, you have clutter back there, right? You have your little pumpkin and your candles. It's clutter. It doesn't have to be everything.
It has to be all over the floor.
I mean, does it help? Sure.
Sure.
But I feel like the more the merrier. If you're gonna have a wall empty, that's gonna go against you. If you have a shelf, make sure it's like, sure, you can fill all the slots. We want that, but we want you to go in that extra mile and fill in more areas. We want you to clutter things that are not meant to be cluttered. Like we want you to be creative, and the more like individually thought out items, the better. For me personally.
And see, that's the other thing. Each one of us as judges has such a different approach to judging what a cluttered room is. Like Nicole just said, she wants to see all of the space, like the shelves filled. And I'm like, there's a blank space, but they have this extra stuff over here, so it's fine.
I'm just gonna go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, I really like to see the different ways that people use the objects too. This first round, we had somebody who took the trellis and turned that into shelving and like put items across the trellis instead of just regular shelves, because we gave like a desk, a bookshelf, a gnome, the money suitcase, and a plant. We're like, these items all have to be in this room, and everybody delivered, right? You don't have to keep that swatch, but you do have to keep these items. And yet, we had a witch doctor's room. We had, a cat lady's room. We had
a mom's office.
We had a frat bro room.
How?
Like the different things people did with it. But that's how it is with any shell in The Sims too, right? Like you give people walls and you say, let your imagination go. And honestly, the Sims community is so imaginative and so creative, and just honestly, I'm going to say 99% kind, because, there's obviously going to be not everybody's perfect all the time. Right. But I would say that the Sims community is hands down my favorite community I've ever been a part of, especially when it comes to Twitch and building. And it's amazing. So
just stay off of Sims Twitter.
Oh, I'm on Sims Twitter. That's my favorite place to be sometimes.
I'm also on Sims Twitter because watching all the stuff from TwitchCon was pretty fun. So
I like to see the drama, not be the drama.
Good call.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you've talked about your different styles of judging, and I want to ask more about that. But at the beginning of the podcast, you were talking about how like all four of you are different pillars in terms of type of clutterers. What is each of your clutter styles? And we can start with Quiv, since this was your friendly bullying Pacific / friendly bullying into creating it.
Yeah, Quiv, you go first.
I think my style of clutter is what I would call themed clutter. So I will pick an item that I really want in the build and then make sure everything else in that build connects somehow to that item in color, in shape, in category. And sometimes there's a lot there, but sometimes it's just 5 or 6 pieces. But I want to see all of the clutter connect to the one thing that I'm trying to get it to connect to. So yeah, I would say themed. I would say I'm a themed clutterer.
Okay. All right. Nichole, what would you say you are?
No idea. Because like maybe in a sense the same way, because I will like go through the gallery and find some gallery art and I can like go from there. Like this one piece of art can control a whole build. And then I guess I just kind of go off of that. Like I'm not the best with descriptions or storytelling, I wouldn't think. But I guess in a way you are with clutter, right? So like if you want them to be artsy, make sure you have all like the necessary artsy clutter items and like anything that might inspire your sim to grow and be better at what they're doing. But I don't honestly know.
Nichole, I would say you're a creative clutterer. The way that you use your clutter is very creative. You use items in ways I personally, and most people I know, don't think to use them. You will use items I wouldn't think to use to clutter. So I would honestly call you a creative clutter, not to tell you what you are.
I just do it, and like that's my whole MO in life. I don't really know. I just do it. I drive people nuts.
I love you.
But it's beautiful clutter. It's beautiful clutter.
Every time.
Pacific, what is your clutter style?
I would say it's lived in clutter. I come from a family with, 3 kids and 2 parents where we were busy and running around all the time. And like it got to, where the mail was all over the dining room table and then it would get swept into a box when we were went through like 3 years later.
That's my life.
That was how I grew up. So I tend to have my clutter, like I think about, all right, well, this person would have all of these items. Where would all of these items go?
In a box.
Right, in a box. So, I love that we have the boxes of stuff, but you don't usually just have a box of stuff. You have a box of stuff, and then there's a box of stuff on top of that, and then there's a box of stuff on top of that. It's usually shoved into the back corner of a closet with some paintings that no longer fit your theming, but nobody wants to buy it. You tried to sell it at the yard sale, and nobody wanted it, so it goes in the closet, and then you have, your box of other things. It starts to compound after a while. So if you have a space that you've lived in for a long time, like my last apartment, mind you, I lived in for 13 years.
Wow.
And so when we finally did move last year, having to go through all the things and see how I had put, things away in order to store it all, especially once, my now husband moved in and we had 2 households worth of stuff and blah, so I tend to clutter from experience, and it's lived in clutter. And people have things. Everybody has a room where they stash that extra shit. You can't lie to me. Everybody has that room. Where is that room in your house? Where exactly? Mine's in front of my desk. You can't see it. It's on camera.
We're all pointing to a place in the room.
Right. Everybody has that space. Everybody has that room. Like I have a bunch of knickknacks and stuff that I don't, they have sentimental value to me. I don't want to just give them away. And I understand that there are people who, don't like to keep a lot of clutter and a lot of knickknacks, and that's fine too. That's not who I am. And so I clutter from experience.
What I need.
I grew up a place for everything and everything in its place.
Nope.
So yeah, we didn't. Yeah.
I walked on my toys. Like it began early.
I think Stassi can also answer. I see it in the chat. That's why I'm saying something.
Yes,
Go
please.
for it, Stassi.
Yes, Stassi.
Hi. Good podcast, by the way, guys. So I'm enjoying I'm enjoying learning more. You talk about clutter. I fucking every builder I know is likes clutter. The clutter I wish that we had more of is like in The Sims is being able to opening up like drawers and having like a junk drawer. Or being able to like open a closet and then be like, that's all the junk that like your six mops and your 4 brooms that are still there and just kind of stuff like that. Like I think that's like I love that type of junk. For me, kind of like Pacific Creative, I am a kitchen table bill person. Whatever bill they make, there's always bills on the table, clothes on the floor, water by the bathroom, because like obviously you get out of the shower, there's water on the floor, right? So it's like necessary clutter to make the house looked in instead of it being like a hotel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Stassi, you can't say kitchen table bills and not have me start thinking. I bet you think about me. How dare you?
100%. That's literally why I said it.
Love you so much.
Love you too. Okay. I will
With
go back.
the
Sorry, go
no,
ahead.
you're totally good with the cabinet, the like junk
The
drawer.
drawers.
Amaryllis,
Yeah.
built that
Yeah,
in season 1 of the Clutter Wars. It was
Yeah.
insane.
Wait,
there was
what?
somebody
built a
this
whole
season.
baker's cabinet.
Yeah, there
Mhm.
was somebody this season that built drawers onto things and put things in them.
Yeah.
She used the wardrobe. It's like a wardrobe like stand. I don't
Yeah.
even like it's amazing to me.
That's crazy.
People are and like I mean
So-
I can build or whatever, but I don't think that way.
Same.
I don't think to use items. And that's what I'm saying too. Like Nicole does use items in ways I don't think to use them. I use
Not
items
that
sometimes
way.
that other people, and that's part of building in general with Sims is people tend to use, you can look at an item and just see it for what it is. Or sometimes you see somebody else use it differently and you're like, oh, I want to use that sometime, and then you do.
Loved her
You use it in
idea.
the Clutter Wars.
Yeah, I mean that's what shell tours are so amazing about. And like the Clutter Wars is just a shell tour on a shell tour on a shell tour, just like especially with this season. And we'll talk about like the differences. I know you kind of touched on them on season 1 and season 2, but we do need to know, because you said there were 4 pillars to the type of clutterers. What do y'all think that captain is?
Oh my
Because I know
God.
mine. I know
Clutter.
what mine is.
Hers is
But I
color.
need to know captains.
Captain's is
Ooh.
color.
It's
Like-
color, but like
Yeah,
I can't
it's-
even put it into words.
The way she uses color. I mean, so Quiv uses theming, but Captain uses color. Like they're not exactly the same thing. Like in some ways they're similar, but the way Captain uses color, she'll usually pick like 2 or 3 colors, and then you see it throughout the entire room.
Hmm.
She's also
And
very talented with other items. Like you're saying that I'm good at what's like Fresh Pick would say is a scam. She'll take like, what is it, like the little toddler creativity table, size it down, pull it under a cabinet and bring it up so you can see like the little paintbrushes through the top. Or she'll take like that basket that came from the infant update and size those down to like make little like that stuff. Like I just don't really think about. Hers is, you say I'm creative, I'd say she's creative times 1,000. Like it's insane.
And the
creative
fact
on
that
crack.
the fact that she could pick a color in The Sims and make
And
it
stick with
work
it.
with our swatches,
Yep.
Yep.
that's a talent right there.
It is.
It's incredible.
And I'm not joking when I say that the way she can fit rooms, like I did like a medium-sized shell once. She fit 7 bedrooms into it.
Yeah, I got like 2.
There are times I'm like, I got a bedroom. She's like, oh, I have 7. And I'm like,
Where?
And then
How-
one of Bezo's, like I was all excited because I had a bedroom, like 2 bedrooms. And she goes, oh yeah, I've got like 4. I was like, oh crap, I don't even have a bathroom. So now I have to lose. I had to go back.
yeah. Or like that smaller shell that you did, Nicole. And I think she fit like 5 bedrooms into that. I was like, I was lucky to get 1 and a
they are
bathroom.
perfectly cluttered with things like underneath the desk and like on top of the bed. Like
She
talk
is
about
creatively
lived in,
efficient with that
creative.
space.
She's all the styles in one.
Yes.
That is our captain.
I love that. I love that. I am a storyteller. I am a storyteller
are.
through grungy, grody builds, and I
Yeah,
learned
you
that
are.
through the
I've
Clutter
learned
Wars.
so much from you, though. I've literally learned so much from you. So
I think
Watching you last season was incredible because you started so simple and then you were like, fuck it.
you're like, oh, clutter, bet.
Clutter and way more.
I am the example of just shove a bunch of shit in there and it's going to be cluttered.
But it's with the story. That's what we're
True.
talking about. Cohesive.
Yes.
You didn't just like throw anything and everything, kind of like my room right now. You literally told a story.
Even
With
your
said-
final room where you were like, oh, it's a hoarder. Like, I'm just going to throw garbage all over the place, right? But you're still told a story because you put a window smack dab down the middle of the room. And the other side was like, oh, this is what it looked like when they first moved in. It's the designer catalog. They're an architectural digest. And then this side is after the hoarders moved in and they've lived here for a year. You know, it was like
It was like the
still
cleanup for
had
the
a
show or
story.
something. Yeah.
You know, even though, yeah, you just threw shit all over the place. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, that is what you did.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it
for
still told a story.
It made
Well,
sense.
it had not just like stuff all over the ground. You had stuff like all over the cabinets that made sense. You had gunk coming off the wall. I mean, it was insane.
It was disgusting and wonderful all at the same time.
So glad there's not smell-o-vision.
Right?
Oh, if we could smell these builds, no.
Yeah, that would be a next
Especially
level. Well,
this
that's
season.
Maybe Sims 5.
Hopefully.
Sims
Absolutely
5.
I'll opt out. Thanks.
Just get a ventilator
I'll
attached
stay
to your
with Sims
computer.
4. Thank you.
With with the final build for last season and for a bunch of other builds last season, and this will like go into the difference between season 1 and season 2, there were a lot more rules that had to be added.
There were.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't imagine
I
why.
can't imagine
Yeah.
why.
Alex.
You were not the only one. You were
Marmy.
No,
really
you
the
weren't the
one.
only one. You weren't.
Marmy.
Amaryllis
I mean-
came in swinging.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, so here's the thing. Here, and that's the other reason. I mean, okay. So like, first of all, when you first do something and you're not entirely sure how it's going to be executed, there's always going to be changes to make things work better, not only for you as a judge, but as for the people participating. And I think one thing I've learned in my, I think, longer life than all three of you. Oh God, I'm old.
by much,
Is that is that you know, a lot of times boundaries aren't necessarily a hindrance. They can be
Right.
really helpful. So like, you know, that's like I said, like we had that one where it was supposed to be a bathroom and they turned it into a police station.
mhm.
Like that was insane.
it was
crazy.
amazing.
But it was supposed to be a bathroom, right? And so by having it be a house, then it's like this room is the bathroom and it has to tell the rest of the story. So you should tie it in somehow.
Mhm.
But also, you know, with stuff like that, we have required items. And when you hide them, we have to take time out to find the items, which is fine when you have 6, 7, 8 entries. When you have 30,
Mhm.
It's a little tedious.
We have to know.
yeah,
we-
it's a little tedious. So
the-
we, you know,
Yeah.
things like that, you know, it's about making it easier for us. It's also though, you know, we allow our audience to judge. So
Mhm.
with the Clutter Wars, we have the 4 judges, but then there is a 5th judge, and that 5th judge is the people that are watching the tours, and we give them a poll at the end of the build, and they can vote 1 to 5, and their vote matters, right? And so by having those items be obvious, then the audience isn't also like, well, where is this? Where is
Mhm.
this? We can't see this. And then we have to take additional time out to do that. And
I had to go and find something last season.
Mhm.
It was-
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to
can't say-
deconstruct to find it.
I do a lot of, obviously I do a lot of stuff because like it's my baby, but I take screenshots of every room that's entered. And in taking those screenshots, and it's not just like 1 or 2 little overview screenshots. Captain doesn't have all packs available to her. So we make sure like every angle of the room is covered. And in doing so, I'm looking for those items. And if I don't find it when I'm looking, we're gonna deduct points. Like I love the ingenuity of making things fit the theme you want, but I also have 25 rooms that I have to take pictures of. And if I'm digging for a plant, I'm out.
Speaking
Yeah.
of like points, I think also like if you're not utilizing the whole space that we gave you, I feel like that's also not a good thing.
because at the end of the day, it's a shell room challenge. Like it's not a whole build, which is a rule that had to be implemented last season because I was going to build a whole house around that kitchen.
Mhm.
You were.
And then I got hand slapped in the best way.
Hand slapped. It was just like, I mean, yeah, you could do that.
You can do it, but it
we're
won't
only
matter.
do
judging
it.
the one room.
We're not looking at
Alex.
it.
That's it. I'm
And
looking
if
at
it's the
this
room that's
space.
not cluttered, that's on you. No.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
that's also though one of the things we learned from last season is that, and I understand that this is also a bit of that for lack of better terminology, it's a bit of that imposter syndrome that you're feeling is you feel like maybe you won by popularity contest rather than on your skills. And I mean, your skills were good. I'm not saying that that's what happened because you definitely won because you won because your builds were great. Okay. But we took that into consideration with this season. And so while we're touring, even though we split them up and we say, these are the builds that are being toured today, so people know when to show up, we don't say which ones we're touring and when. So this season, it's completely anonymous so that there's none of that potential, popularity contest piece as well. Because we do have, some bigger name streamers participating this season. We've got like Bezo Plays, we have Bagel Welsh, and then we have other well-known builders like Exomi Simmer, Tattooed Simmer, people that are known within the
Witching
community.
Mermaid.
Yeah, exactly. Witching Mermaid. We have some amazing builders, and then we have some people that aren't even streamers. They're just community members that are participating, which is wonderful. And I love that they're getting the opportunity to participate in something like this, because usually during any kind of competition, there's like an application process, and usually streamers get picked over your everyday, just viewer, the community member, because there's going to be more hype around a streamer participating. So doing it anonymously was a really good opportunity, I think, for us to avoid the popularity contest piece, as well as allow anybody to participate that wanted to participate.
Anonymous as possible.
Yeah,
We
because
wanted
obviously
to-
people are posting and stuff like that,
Yeah.
doing it on stream. But
We just wanted it to be fun. I didn't want you to feel like you had to make content to participate. We
Mhm.
just want you to have fun.
We have some people returning this year, and we have a lot of new names.
A lot of new names.
a
Mhm.
lot more.
Which is super exciting. And just so everyone knows that is listening to this podcast, we'll have a link to all of these lovely Twitch streamers on here so that you can go check it out and vote. Because when this comes out, I keep calling them episodes.
Episode 2. No, you're correct. That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
okay, cool. Episode 2 is going to be wrapping up this Wednesday, which would have been like 5 days ago when this comes out, because this comes out on Sunday. So tours might be happening for episode 2, and you can catch. But there's also going to be how many rounds this season?
11.
So there's a lot more to catch for everyone. Like it's just kicking off for season 2.
And we mean it. Like, your vote does count.
It does. It matters.
Some of the votes can be so close, so much closer than like all of the judges will be like, oh, it was good. And then tap like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And we're just like, all right, this is the best thing we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Or we'll think something's amazing and chat will pull like a 3 out of
3.
I'm like,
Yeah, we're just like,
what?
oh,
We're like,
my
oh,
bad.
all right, cool. Yeah.
Okay, humble us.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we take everybody's scores, the 4 judges and then the chat, and we add them up. And so based on the total score, that's how we get the scores. We don't share the scores with the people because we don't want people to feel like their score, is like the end all be all of everything. Oh, I got 5s all the way across on every room. Well, okay, great. But just because you did it for 3 rooms doesn't mean you're going to get it for room 4. And we don't want you to feel bad. Or, if you did room 1 and you barely squeaked through, at least you know what to do for the next round. And we don't want you to feel bad about yourself because you didn't get a great score all the way across the board.
I think everybody did so good this last round. But I think once they've seen what we're actually looking for, they're gonna really bring it. And this next round is gonna be so hard.
But I will say again, I think we're all looking for something a little different because I'm not looking for Hoarder Wars.
Yep.
And I think that's a huge distinction we have to make.
It's not Decor Wars, and
Clutter
it's
Wars.
not Hoarder
Hoarder.
Wars. It is Clutter
It's
Wars.
clutter. And that's the other thing. People get hung up on the 5 items we put into the room, or 6 or 3. I don't care. Those items are there because they're all base game. And if somebody who only has base game wants to participate, I don't want to put something in there that isn't base game. But they're just there as to help fill space. It's an extra shelf for you to put something on. It's an extra clutter item for you to integrate. But we're not looking at the door and saying, oh, they changed the color. It doesn't go with the theme. Like, it's a door. It's cool. We're not looking at our items. We're looking at what you did in the room with the clutter.
Around them.
And just that the items have to be in there.
They just have to be there.
And they
It helps
kind of
us
throw a
eliminate if we need
curveball.
to.
People hated the desk this last round.
Yeah,
like,
of all the
holy
items that we
moly,
gave,
they did
it
so
wasn't the
good.
gnome.
It wasn't the
No,
gnome.
Not the ghastly
The
gnome.
desk.
Although
They
Push
burned
back
the
on that
gnome.
desk.
there's
They
one
burned it.
contestant that I think is going to make it their plan
To burn it every time?
to abuse the gnome in every room.
My poor gnome.
As long as it's cluttered.
As long as it's cluttered, we don't care.
Yeah,
Stick it in the
we had to
fireplace.
sit
That's
there and
fine.
watch it burn.
Yeah, we did have to sit and watch it burn. It was in the fireplace. They requested it be in live mode.
Yep. hmm
Hey,
That's another fun thing is if you have requests like that, we like to accommodate it.
because there's
That's
different
how-
ways of playing the game, and
Yeah,
there's different ways that clutter shows up. I mean, some live item like clutter you can't see, like the bugs or butterflies or stuff
I
like that.
didn't know
you
that was
incorporate.
possible till you. And I didn't
There's-
know about the basketball that's on fire till you.
Those are all
Basketball
things I have learned.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
those are all things I have learned from other people. That was all from my chat. But yes, the terrariums you can size down, and then all of the insects will just like be in live mode. And from City Living, there's a
Yep.
debug basketball that if you like size it down, it's just a perpetual flame. Fire.
Great, well, great.
You guys can't see the look on Pacific's face. The registering of that flaming basketball.
My thought is, how can I use that now that I know it exists?
It's amazing.
It's great
Like-
for
I've got
fireplaces.
shells coming up, man.
So like a lot of people are using them in the or like I don't know what he did it like in a can to make it like a fire, right? Like a hobo fire. I don't know what you call it. But a lot of people are putting them in like the fireplaces and stuff like that. But yeah, you could do anything with it.
Just been using the glowy balls.
Like
from-
stickers. From
Making
Realm of
Magic.
Magic too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess
The
it's not
glowy-
Making Magic was the Sims one. Realm of Magic, yeah.
Yeah, the glowy like from Rumble Magic is amazing. I've seen so many people do a lot of like debug baby stuff with it too, of like the glowing debug baby.
I have
but-
never done that.
That is not true. I know for a fact that's not true.
I wasn't adding anyone, but
We're not going to call you out, but if you feel called out,
this is
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Yeah, the shoe fits, Nicole.
I'm not even wearing them.
So we talked about a lot of different types of clutter, and I think a lot of people when they hear clutter, at least for me, I think of knickknacks. Like I think of like the candles, the just like random pieces of furniture, books, Jenga blocks behind you, plushies, whatever it may be. What is clutter to y'all? Because you said that like some clutter items people had to use were like a desk and like gnome ghost. Like what counts as clutter?
the desk I would count as clutter. I think I count it as a clutter holder.
Okay.
So a clutter for me, like in game, are things like the books and the candles and like the pile of bills. My favorite clutter item is Coin Mageddon recently, which came with like the clutter kit. But like for me, that's clutter. Just like things you would find around, but not necessarily think about using in a efficient way.
Yeah, for me, it's
What are we
it's
doing?
the items that you collect throughout your life, whether it's, if you really like makeup and you have a, shit ton of makeup and it's all over your bathroom counter, or it's in a box, right? And then the drawer, and then the other drawer, and in the mirror. Like it's clutter, right? And sometimes that clutter is all over your counter, and sometimes it's stashed in drawers. But if you stash enough things in drawers, eventually your drawer gets full and it bleeds into the counter.
So true.
So I think it's just the items that we collect as humans, whether
Mhm.
they be with sentimental value or that procrastination value of I'm going to get to that,
Like I'm looking
Or I'm
at
gonna-
so much right now.
I clean that up later. I'm going to, So either just items that we collect for sentimental value, right? Like on my shelf, on Quiv's shelf, or that procrastination of I'm going to get to that later.
Laundry and cups that I just used last week. And
Don't
I
call out the cups that I have on my desk.
I don't. I'm a beverage goblin these days, so I don't even want to talk about
little things the kids have made me or given me. Old papers.
Sentimental value, procrastination value.
Yep. It's everywhere.
Or just decoration value.
And then I have like even my walls are cluttered. Like you kind of can tell behind me, but in front of me, it's even more so. Like I like clutter. I don't like empty spaces.
And see, and I think
Oh, you can't see because
that's a huge difference between like Nicole and I. Is she doesn't like empty spaces, but I get, as somebody who has like anxiety, I get overwhelmed when there's too much stuff. So I like some void because I need that.
I'm learning.
You're good.
I think I'm also a void person. Everything around me is just empty. Just
I'm learning to like a little bit more void in real life, but in the game, give it to me.
Yeah. Empty spaces feel weird to me in the game. So like if somebody gives me a really big shell, it takes me a really long time because I'm like, there's all this empty space.
I also have like different mindsets of clutter because you have like your home clutter and then you have like your commercial clutter, which is a lot less unless it's like a bookstore or something. Your commercial clutter is a little more minimalistic, but you have like, that's just me maybe.
Yeah, what kind of cozy spaces exist too? A bookstore, coffee shops, is it going to be like a minimalist Apple store feel where it's very minimalist, or is it going to be a little bit cozy, like an old
I like cozy. I think I like cozy clutter the most. I was so excited with the pillows.
And that's why multiple pillars.
That's exactly why it works. That's why like people like, I need these ladies. And I don't think like, that's not an understatement for me. If it wasn't for Captain, I wouldn't have any semblance of how to break up a round. If it wasn't for Pacific, I would be like, nope, not for me. That's not cluttered enough. She's like, actually it is. And I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, no, it is. Or I'm like, that's too cluttered. And she's like, it's not though. Like they could add more things. And I'm like, no, I don't think it can. And if it wasn't like, Nicole is like the biggest cheerleader you'll ever have in your life. She's like, no, do it. No, do it. No, do it. And I'm like, no. And she's like, no, for real, do it. So like in May, I sat down and we wrote all of the rules out. And Mr. Quiv, who is also a huge supporter, was like, I'm copywriting this. So it's a copywriting thing. But it's all because I was shading Pacific lovingly on stream. And Nicole said, do it.
And she's like, nobody will want to do it. I was like, so many people would love to do this. People love clutter.
It boggles my mind how many people have jumped into this. It genuinely does. Because I was like, oh, it's just a silly idea.
And there's so many shell challenges out there. I think that's one of the amazing things about The Sims. If you're not super into The Sims or not into building in The Sims, a shell challenge is where someone puts out, here's my walls, decorate it how you want. I will tour it on X day. And that's kind of how the Clutter Wars functions, except it's just a room. It's not an entire build. It's not someone having to build a 3-story haunted mansion or a completely underground bunker basement, or where the streamer is blindfolded and decided to build a shape. It is a specific room that you have to do. Those were all references, and if you could see their faces.
I know all of these. But funny enough, though, like in a sense, this is gonna be a whole shell in the end, but it's one room at a time this season. Who knows what comes next season?
I think doing it as rooms makes it more approachable, because if I have 3 weeks to do a house, I'm going to be overwhelmed by that house. But if I have a week and a half, 2 weeks to do a room, I can do that. That's completely approachable.
So with
Let's
that,
hear me.
Go for it.
No, I'm just saying I'm a bit of a sloth when it comes to building.
Well, shell challenges is really how I came across Twitch and how I got into building personally.
Mm-hmm.
I played every variation of The Sims. I had number 1, I had number 2, I had number 3. And so then I was playing number 4, and I was just a game player. I never built. I did CC for 1, 2, and I didn't play 3 long enough. It's a whole thing. But I just, I'd been doing it and I was taking all these things off the gallery. And finally there was one day I was trying to find something specific and nobody had it. And I was like, man, I really don't know enough about building. And then I was like, I've been playing the game this long and I don't know enough about building. Really? That's kind of weird. So I started finding more videos about like how to build better because I was like, maybe it's time I start actually contributing. Maybe I should start putting stuff on the gallery. So I found a couple blueprints and built them, and they didn't really get a lot of downloads because of course I wasn't out there. Nobody knew who I was. My stuff wasn't really showing up on the pages. And through that I found like Little Simsy, and then through Little Simsy I found Twitch, and then through that I found other creators and found shells and started participating in shells. And after I think my first one that ever was toured, the streamer who is Blonde Plum Bob Mackey was like, first of all, you're never allowed to not do my shell challenges from here on out. Second of all, this is your first one ever. Like, this is so good. And I was like, it is? Like, I thought I was just, oh, okay, that's cool. But I think something really similar happened with Nicole,
And
because I was doing community tours on my stream. And she submitted one and I toured it. And I literally like, my stream is PG-13, so I didn't say it, but I was like, holy shit, where did you come from? Like, this is amazing. She's like, really? Nobody's ever toured my stuff. And I was like, you build like this and nobody's seeing what you're making? Are you serious? Like, you got to be kidding me. So, that was also like, okay, but are you streaming? Like, but are you streaming?
I started in January, but then, like, of course, just like with so many people, nobody's watching. I'm talking to myself. And I was so excited because people were in my chat. It was bots. I didn't know. I was so excited about the bots.
Could be worse. You could have talked to nobody for the first hour because you were muted.
I've done that so many times.
But
we don't talk about muted streams.
You're not a real streamer unless you've been muted.
You've done something.
And tried to talk at least once.
Yeah.
That's your official status to pro streamer.
I met Pacific and then I met Quiv, and it's been amazing. And Captain was the supporter of both of them and a huge supporter of mine when I started streaming again in March. So, and then the lovely Alex was bullied into streaming. And I remember your first stream. So
it was an experience.
But I think Pacific has said it really well when she says, I didn't get involved and then somebody toured my shell. And I think for the community, we hear a lot of non-content creators say, oh, I'm not going to make it. Oh, I'm going to drop out. Oh, it's not. You guys are like the backbone of these competitions. You guys are so good. If you're not a content creator, please don't count yourself out. Yep. Some of the stuff y'all come up with, I never would have thought of in a million years. And I do this every day. I'm just like, how did you think of that? I never would have done that.
A community member can still be a content creator, even if you don't want to be on camera, even if you don't want to create, stuff that people are watching. You can still create for the game that we all know, like and love.
Yes, ma'am.
That still makes you a creator of content.
Yeah, I download stuff from the gallery all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm lazy.
And I don't do gameplay like I used to. I'm so into build. Like, I didn't really even start building until about a little over a year ago. Like, I really started building. Before that, I was completely gameplay. But now it's like I pretty much only build. That's all I want to do in the game is build and create.
Yeah, I think I jumped in as a builder. I got the game, I think this February will be my second year with the game. I have not been playing very long at all. And like, I was like, oh, I'll just move into this house, do gameplay, and I hated the house. And that was like the end for me. I was like, well, we're just building. We're just going to build.
I started in Sims 3. I played Sims 2 a little bit on console, and then Sims 3, I played the game, but I primarily even built then. My favorite lot was with the waterfall, and I would make my own little lot so I could build there. And then I took a big hiatus. I took 6 years away from the game because Sims 4 came out days after I had my first kiddo. And I was like, okay, I can't be a good mom and play The Sims because I'm addicted. And so I took a nice 6-year break, and then both kids came. They're much older, and I was like, okay, I need something for me, and that is Sims. And I started with building. So build, build, build. That's all I like to do.
I love that. As someone who is a game player, I respect and
You're
honor all of y'all
amazing at
builds.
it. I get
I
bored.
can't play the game the way you do. I tried.
What do you mean?
Doesn't
You don't
work.
want
I'm
to
too
Rags to
vanilla.
100 Black Widow not so berry challenge?
Like I want to, but I'm also one of those people who can't even evict somebody out of the house, and I have to finish the build so my sim has stuff that they need, even though they're not real. I have
You
to
know
make
what?
sure they have everything they need.
That's okay. People, and that's the thing about this game too, is people do get really attached to their Sims. People get attached to their builds. People, you're creating stories, and any good author loves what they create. They love the characters. They become attached, and that's what this is.
Mm.
Whether it's a story you're building with the build, or it's a story you're building with your Sims.
Or even
It's one of the.
outfits.
I think it's one of
And
the
the
things that
outfits
brings
get
us all
Cass.
together.
Cass is freaking amazing. I use all like the pre-made stuff, and I feel guilty about it, but I can't. Like I'll make a house and then make the Sims for that house. Where other people are the way they'll make the Sims and then think about making the house, but then they don't.
That's me.
I like
Or just
both.
have Retro make them for you, because Retro.
I mean,
whoa,
Amazing.
shout out to Retro. Retro needs to do the Clutter Wars because
heck yes.
all of the builds that are on my channel are from Retro because they're just amazing. Retro Lark.
I have a little list of the people I'd love to see participate in Clutter Wars, and we actually have a couple of them this season, which I'm really excited about. And I don't want to reveal the list because I don't want to pressure. I don't, number one, want to pressure anybody, and number two, I don't want anybody to feel bad because like, oh, they want this person. Well, I could never compete with that. Like I don't want it. I don't want that.
I want anybody and everybody who wants to tell the story or do this. That's what we want. We want you to have fun, and which is I like even somebody who doesn't think they did that well or clutter that much. I still learn something with everything I see. Literally, they could have put 5 things in that room, and I bet you I'd be like, I would not have thought of that.
I think that's the best part about the Clutter Wars is that it is for everyone. Like it is a competition, like in some aspects, but even if you're not participating or like competing, it's still a shell that you can do. You can still have that fun. And we've been talking a lot about community members and people who might not be on Twitch, so they've never heard of it. I know you guys now have an Instagram and a Discord and a TikTok, but Stassi gets new listeners every podcast, which Stassi and we appreciate. So for anyone that is listening in, if they were like, okay, you know what, a new season is starting, how would they get involved? Where would they find you? What would they need to do? What's the level of participation required? Do they have to come to your streams? Do they have to, what do you do?
I think the biggest rule is you have to follow one of us on Twitch, just because like we need to be able to like find you somewhere and reach out to you. So the Discord, I think each of us that stream has a link that we can throw up at any time to the Discord for Clutter Wars. Nichole and I do mainly Nichole, like 99% Nichole, does the Instagram. And then I literally just made the Twitter and the TikTok. And I think all of them across everything is just at Clutter Wars.
Yeah. So I think ultimately Instagram is the easiest way to find us. And then you could always like send a message through.
My DMs are always open.
Yeah, DM through Instagram and get the link to the Discord, because the Discord is where we drop all of the information.
Yep, it's gonna be the hub.
It's the main place for information. It's the main place for communication. So like even if you're not on Twitch yet, because honestly, I think that Twitch can. A lot of people are worried about the toxic level that happens with Twitch. Like, I think that's what keeps a lot of people off of Twitch. But honestly, the Sims community is like the least toxic community I have found on Twitch. And I have seen a few communities on Twitch. And so I think that, even if you just hop into a stream and just sit there, you don't have to talk. You don't have to engage. If you just sit there and watch it, you could see what we're doing, what it's about, get an idea of what other people are at least doing. And we have the schedule posted on the Discord, so you can learn like what link to click and when to watch it and see what it's like. And then if you wanted to participate when we're ready to do the next one, we usually put out an application, and the application isn't to whittle down the amount of people. It's so we know how many rounds we have to plan for.
And
it
how to
also
get a
gives
hold of
us
you.
how to get a hold of you, because
Yes.
this season the competition and the participants have spread across Instagram and Twitch, and none of those things, some of these people just
And
chill in
over
a
the
stream.
world. Like,
Yeah,
they're
like
all over.
It's all over the place.
Mhm.
Discord
Literally.
is probably the best place to get everybody together and give everybody all of the information at one time.
And it's free.
So yep. So
Oh.
the application, like Pacific said, is not an application in the traditional sense. It's a, how can we get a hold of you? What's your username? That's all it
Gallery
is.
user.
Yep.
And the best part is for those listening right now, even if there's not an application open for season 3 yet, because we're in the middle of season 2, you can come judge. Like we talked about earlier, you know, Nicole, Pacific, Quiv, Captain, they are all rating the builds on a scale from 1 to 5. But in that Discord, you can see, you know, what the stream schedule is, when the judging is going to happen, pop into any of those streams, and it's a like whichever number gets the highest vote, right?
It's a poll.
And, yep.
It's a poll, and that's anonymous also. Like, we don't see who
Mhm.
votes what. Like, you could be lurking the whole time, not saying a darn thing, and hit and vote.
And if you're interested in even just thinking about applying for when season 3 comes out, again, I know we're in the middle of season 2, but you can still download these shells off the gallery and
play with them,
participate along.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you
We
can
have
join
people
the
doing that
Discord now.
anyway.
Yeah, we've got people in the Discord this season that came in late, and they're still grabbing the rooms to see what they would have done.
Yeah.
And I think that's fantastic, because
Yeah, I
I
love
wouldn't
it.
know what to do with these rooms.
Especially this last one.
Listen, the first room was amazing.
The elephant
Some-
room.
The elephant room.
The elephant room
by
was
the awful
fantastic.
Gaymer.
It was, you know what, we got to go chaos mode. And what's better than a 3x1 trunk that they have to figure out how to fill?
But then we had to build a house around that, Alex.
Exactly. You got everybody.
So
Watching
it wasn't
Ultimate troll.
just
Captain.
it wasn't just the competitors that you were trolling there. It was also us, for the record. But we love you.
Congratulations. You
And then
did
I
it.
pieced out and said, have fun, everyone else.
Yeah.
You really did. But
Yeah,
to be
that is
fair,
1000%.
for those of you unaware, we are gonna sneak Alex, aka the Awful Gamer, in as a guest judge in at least one round,
Yep.
possibly 2. So Uno reverse. We're gonna make you do what we have to do.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Like,
It's
I'll
hard.
sit there and everybody's like putting in their votes, and we have a spreadsheet. And I'm like, these are penciled in. Let me go back in and like
Yes.
really look at the room and make sure I like my score. Because it's hard.
Most
I'll
of
just
the
be-
time, I put my score in before any of the tours happen, because again, I can download them from the gallery. I've taken all of the screenshots. I kind of know. And then I'll be in like Pacific stream or Nicole stream as they're streaming it, and they'll point something out, and I'm like, oh.
Like,
I
one of
need to
my
change
favorite
score.
details. One of my favorite details was like dust on top of the bookcase. I was like, I would have thought to never do that either.
See, I think my favorite thing I've seen this year is so different, because my favorite thing I've seen so far is that wall where they put all of the books for like the writer's room.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. I know exactly which room that is too.
There were a lot of things I liked. I don't know that I could pick just one thing. I loved the clutter drawers that somebody created. I loved the trellis that I mentioned before, where they were putting items in the spaces of the trellis like shelves. There's
I
so
love
many
the
really
cages with the animals from the ceiling.
yeah, the cages of the animals, the skeleton hanging upside down in the closet.
I also found it really interesting, and I don't know if anybody else noticed this, so I want to point it out. I found it really interesting. You all had the same room in the same spaces, and the amount of people that A, put the gnome in the same space, and B, used red as like a wallpaper color was incredible to me. I was like, are y'all like chatting? Are you guys like?
Yeah.
I mean, they
Are you
are
gonna
chatting,
mute
but
me?
they're not telling each other. It's amazing.
Red room.
It was all red, like 7 of the rooms, and each,
But
even
different
though all of
wallpapers.
yes,
But red.
but
Yeah.
even though all of the rooms were red and they all had the gnome in the same place, each room was so different from the
So
other.
It's different.
It was crazy.
It's amazing. Seeing the tours and seeing the entries is just, I mean, anytime you watch a shell, let alone a Clutter Wars shell, like the ideas that just come from it of just like, oh, that's an item that exists in this game.
So
That's a
often,
lie.
like, where is this from?
Listen, there was a room. I took the pictures. I did the tour. They had created like an old wall hanging telephone, like with the reception that you crank and talk into the thing. I took the pictures and toured the room, and it didn't click to me until like 5 minutes later that they had pieced that whole thing together. It does not exist in the game. I was like, where
Upload
is
it
this
to the
from?
gallery so we can download it and put it in any build. Please and thank you as an individual item.
Or even like the little items that when you're in the live mode or live mode, like they're moving and hissing and like doing weird things. They're like, what is this?
Yeah, the little like
Yeah.
Bane that's like spazzing out because it's hooked up to electrodes.
Stranger
Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sims is a weird game, man.
So
like
weird.
trying to explain to somebody who doesn't play. That happens with my husband all the time.
That's why I love this
Redacted.
community, because I feel welcome.
Right. Because it's a weird game. And everybody plays it differently, and everybody's ideas are different. And the shit that they put in there, you're just like, huh. All right, cool. Like you don't think about it. Oh, I'm gonna have a baby with the Grim Reaper. What other game do you do that in? Oh, I married Santa Claus. And he doesn't technically die, but because now he's a character, there's a new Santa Claus. So technically, there's two Santas. Christmas for everybody. What other game? What other game? Not
Grim Daddy in the relationship with Grim Reaper. It just
feral
happens.
outdoor children.
Just
As
Yes,
there should
Alex.
be.
That is
Shit.
spreading too.
Like you hear the Reddit, shower thoughts. We need the shit simmer say because
Oh, that is a thing. And then they're like, is it Sims or is it real life?
Yeah.
right. I'm just like, what are we talking about?
I think
Oh, my
that's on
husband
Reddit.
died and I couldn't find his urn. What? Oh, you're talking about the game. I understand.
Free range children.
Free range children.
Number one thing. Okay, so Stassi said I have some out there questions, as I
boy.
always do. So we've gone over what the Clutter Wars is. We've gone over kind of like how you could get involved, what to look out for. What's some spoilers for season 2? I mean, you already dropped one that I'm going to be a guest judge, so now I need another one.
Sure.
Now I need another one. What are we getting? What can we expect? You don't have to say like this is the challenge, but maybe.
I'll give you one.
Okay,
It's a
all right.
2-story house.
Okay.
You
And
could
have
pick
to
that
put
up by
them
the stairs.
together.
But it is a 2-story house. And there's
don't-
3 bedrooms.
I don't think
That's all
it was,
you're getting from me.
I don't think it was mentioned yet either, though. Like they got the first room and now we're coming in with the second room, and they have to put those two together
Yep.
and upload them together.
And they
then
have
each
to do
room-
it the way that we tell them to.
And then
Okay.
each room, they're gonna be building this house one room at a time and upload it back up.
Can they go back and change an existing room after they've gotten the like next room size to help make it more cohesive?
No.
Well, they can. If they want to change little things, sure. But bear in mind, I have screenshots. So
Yeah.
if you go in and change the room and you're like, no, it was always like that. I'm like, you're a liar.
Like,
It
they're
has
like,
receipts.
shoot, there's this one item that I noticed was floating just a tiny bit. Yeah, go
We'll
and
fix
fix it. It's
Or fix the
fine.
ceiling or whatever.
Like
But
I've told
or it's
everybody,
paint the ceiling.
the room's already judged, right? Like we're not going to go back and rejudge a room. We just want to make sure that the rooms are flowing cohesively. So I'm not going to go back and be like, oh, you changed things. I'm deducting points. The room's judged.
Right.
Change what you need
But
to.
you can't change the story. Like I said, there was that one that was like the witches, the witch doctor voodoo room. Yeah, that room has to still be a witch doctor voodoo room, and the next one needs to be connected somehow. You can't go change your story. Like,
No flip flopping.
It's
and
gonna
one of
be
the things, yeah, one of the things that I love about that is you can tell the story by also changing the story. Like, so for that voodoo doctor room, as an example, that could be their like hidden private room that's like just for them, and they make the rest of the house like
pretty normal.
sweet little old lady.
That's my favorite story. It's like the little granny that's got like the The surveillance and scary stuff upstairs or in the dungeon.
The dungeon.
But she's baking cookies for the neighbor.
Yeah.
Special
Arsenic
cookies.
and Old Lace style.
Cookies.
All right. So with that little teaser out of the way, which I'm very excited about, what is your least favorite part of the Clutter Wars? Because the favorite part we've talked about, it's the shells, it's seeing what everyone does. What's your least favorite part?
Judging. Yeah, that too.
Mine is going to be so odd and different.
Ooh.
It's please don't take this the wrong way because I love doing it, but touring actually makes me motion sick. So
Yeah.
that is my least favorite part, because as much as I love it and I love seeing what everybody has done and like going through them, by the end of stream I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's it. I love everything about it, and it's a me issue, right? Like it's an ish me, not an issue. So that's all. That's my least favorite part. After screenshots and tours, I'm like, I'm gonna go lay down. Thanks.
I hate the idea that somebody feels bad, if they didn't get a 2, or if they get like a 2 or 3 from chat. I hate that it maybe made them feel bad.
Mhm.
I hate that we do have to send people home, but it's a competition. Like somebody has to go home. Like somebody has to go home, right? So that's the whole point of crowning a winner and it being a competition. Like that's just the name of the game. So there's always going to be people that have to go home. There's always, like we've had people that have seen it and been like, oh shoot, I regret entering because I didn't realize it was this level. And we're like, yeah, but you threw your hat in the ring.
That
But
matters.
Pride. Like, and if you did make it through the first round and you get to do the second round, you can learn from that. Like maybe this office wasn't cluttered and maybe the hallway is a little more cluttered. And then if you get through the next round, then your next room can be like crazy cluttered because maybe that's the room where they stash all the stuff, right? Like that's the thing that's nice about it, is it's people getting to go outside their comfort zone. It's people learning. It's people, and if you did, not make it to the next round, you can apply next season. You could be in next season. We don't tell you can't be in the next season and you can't try again. We don't tell people that, oh, you already competed, so sorry. No, we want you to compete again.
Somebody mentioned last time that they cluttered a little bit, but Clutter Wars really brought that out of them, and then they've become so much more creative because of it. So it's really hard to see people who work so hard on these rooms, so hard, and then it's really hard to be like, it's so close sometimes. Like it's literally so
We've had
hard
several
and close.
tiebreakers.
Yeah,
with chat.
had to do that.
Like last season for the winning, I literally deconstructed y'all's rooms, and I was like, they're so close. That's the hard part for me.
Yeah, it's that fact that you have to discipline somebody
because there's such a varying degree of what clutter is.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but that's also why we score it the way that we do, is so that everybody has that say.
And there's really no such thing as rejection in the Clutter Wars. It's redirection. Either you grow, you learn from it, you get to see everyone else's, you can reapply. Like there's no punishment, like you all were saying, for going home or not continuing, because you still get to participate, you still get to judge, you still get to share your opinion and just be involved in some way.
And you can still get the rooms and still do the room. You just aren't going to be in the next round of judging.
Yep.
And like if you're eliminated, please, like Alex was saying, you can come and judge. But in the Discord, we also have an idea section. And if you're like, hey, I think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for next season, throw it in there. I always try to give credit where credit is due. And there's some ideas in there that I'm like, y'all sure you don't want my job?
Ideas. Yeah.
I
feel like I'm just a cheerleader. Do it.
Way more than a cheerleader.
You know what I mean? Like I will push it and go it, but y'all are more the
brains. A support system.
I'm a gopher. You're like, here, do these tours, and I'm like, okay.
I need that. As previously discussed, if I had to do all the tours, I'd be like in bed for a week.
It would take Quiv out.
I'd be done. That's why I don't do shells. But
that's fair. But it does up your game, even if you're just watching. I mean, went from the awful builder to flipping other people's shells upside down and cluttering it that way.
That was the
making
craziest thing I'd
everybody
ever seen.
sick.
Because I want
Right?
to just make everyone sick.
I was watching that out of the corner of my eye because I watch tours, but I'm just like, I can't like watch them. And I looked over and I was like,
Nope.
why is this guy on the ground?
I'm just glad that was after mine.
It was amazing. Like, I've seen people do an upside down build, but you did the roof, you did the platforms, and like you did every little thing upside down.
Yep.
It was amazing.
You'll learn from the Clutter Wars.
You are chaos, and I love it.
The awful chaos.
And
What
I
is your
also-
least? Oh, go for
Go
it.
ahead. I was gonna
No,
say,
no.
I also want to point out just quickly, just very quickly, quick caveat. You don't have to be a PC player to participate in Clutter Wars.
Correct.
We
Nope,
have
just a
several
Sims player.
console players. Yeah, we have
And
several
The
console
Sims
players.
4 is free.
It's free. And everything's base game that we put in. It's up to you to do the rest.
Ooh,
That's
should we do a
amazing.
base game only one?
Shh.
Oh,
Spoiler.
spoiler.
It's not for this
Spoiler.
season.
All right, season 3.
Do-do-do-do.
So you've seen so much clutter. You've been in everyone's builds from season 1. We're going into season 2. We've got just all of the shell tours and being in the Sims. What's your least favorite clutter item?
Shit. I'm trying to
love
think if
them
there's one
all.
item that I grab and I'm like, I fucking hate this thing. I don't
Because
know.
favorite's too easy. I mean, like Quiv already said, it's the coin one. Like we don't
It's
need
the
to
coin.
know everyone's favorite. We need to know your least favorite. Not that that's going to affect judging if anyone uses it, but like
It won't.
there's always items that we're just like, really, Sims? Really?
I can't think of anything.
I think because I don't use them, I'm like, I forget they exist.
Right. Yeah. I tend to not think about items if I don't. I think. That's rough because I don't. I think
There's a rooster that came with cottage living.
I love the
that is-
rooster.
but it has like no definition of it at all.
Yeah.
Put
It
it
is
on the
like,
top shelf. Nobody sees it.
you just
Yeah.
hide it.
Okay. When you said that, that reminded me. So the bathroom clutter kit
Yes.
have super high resolution items, and it still bothers me. So
The
there
towels
is,
that are sheer.
yeah. No, my biggest issue is it's like the caboodles box, right? It's
Yes.
the plastic
Everybody
box
hates
with the
that,
plastic
yeah.
drawers, and the one that has the like I like the one that's closed. I love that because it reminds me of an item I have in my own house upstairs. But there's the one that has like the brush on top and like the jewelry hanging out of it, and like it's so like the resolution on it is so low, it just looks crappy, and I hate using it.
I have to agree with Pacific because I have a mod specifically installed to not show that in my game. So that probably is my least favorite piece.
There you go.
Wow.
I thought you were going to bring up the hair dryer from that kit.
No, I'll use the hairdryer before I'll use that box with the brush on the top.
Yeah,
think
I
I'd
don't
still
even
use
I never see
anything.
it. Yep, I installed a mod to get rid of it.
That's incredible. I did not know that that existed, that
either.
you could do like to hide an item.
I hated it that much.
I will say there's a picture that y'all have ruined for me.
You're welcome.
And then although the rug is considered to be a lady's,
Feminine hygiene product
yeah, I still love the pad rug.
Ooh, I do
from
love
Snowy
that rug.
Escape. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're not sure what we're talking about, it's the little rug from Snowy Escape.
The
So
fur
you're
rug.
welcome.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks.
It
like
does.
I-
It's in the shape of a pad. Yeah, it is.
I still love it.
You're welcome.
You're so right. I love that item so much, but you're
But
so
yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's
I
been
have to
ruined for
size
all of
it
us.
and put things
I
over
think-
it so it
Mhm.
doesn't. Yeah.
Or combine two of them.
And the other one's like the wine glass or something, right? That yeah. Mhm.
I hate how the white, like the, okay, I know I'm not the only sim player to have said this, but I wish they would give us glasses to use, like wine glasses and stuff that weren't the debug ones, because the debug ones, if you
It's
tuber in live
stinky.
mode, are stinky. So the green stuff is coming off of them. They can't just be glasses.
Give it free the debug food.
Free
Let
the
us put
debug
Absolutely.
food.
debug food without the gallery eating it.
Or the debug dishes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Free the dishes.
I was
Read the
really excited
cupcakes.
about the pillows. The pillows is a clutter
Yeah.
item because people, simmers for however long now, have been using like chairs and this random thing and that random thing to make pillows. I would love more of that. I know when the book nook came out, I thought we were getting pillows. I don't know why. I was so freaking excited. And then I was like, oh. And then the next one came out and I was like, oh, there they are.
All the
Ta-da!
pillows.
Now
We
I
got
need
them.
blankets and triangle
Seriously.
wall windows.
A-frame windows, absolutely.
Mhm.
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Last unhinged question, and then we'll do the regular wrap up after if Stassi has any questions. Because it's the Clutter Wars, if this was an actual war, what clutter item would you use to win?
The sword that hangs on the wall from Get to Get, or from Get Famous. You know what I'm talking about, the rainbow one. That one.
She is prepared.
I like that. Quib knows exactly what they're reaching for if this
Listen.
clutter war starts.
I think about all sorts of dangers and how to prevent them, and that's the answer.
The
Rainbow
drainage
swords.
of a roof, and
I do think about that too much.
I do too. It's a little sad.
What
I
about
have-
you, Pacific? Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole. Go ahead.
I don't know. Do I know anything?
Yes.
I can tell you mine while y'all think. It would be from, I can't remember the pack. I think it's Dream Home Decorator. It's the like weird like
The
cube
jack.
thingy. Yes. That is just so many different ways to grip and to just swing. It really
I'll
I
smother you
really
with
feel
pillows.
like it's a good versatile
There we go.
item. Smother with pillows. I like.
I would use one of the lights from Batu.
Oh.
I was trying to think if there's
hanging.
lightsabers.
Yeah, swing it around. There are lightsabers, actually. There are.
So
Yeah.
There are
you go.
lightsabers. Stassi, what item would you use?
That is a good question. As I howled when you asked that. Would it be tacky to have the gold bars and just throw gold bars at people? Because that will fucking kill you.
sounds amazing.
And if it doesn't
would just-
kill you, it'll pay for your hospital bill.
Yeah, I'll just take it
100%.
and run. It's fine. It's fine. Throw 3 of them at me, and I'll be like, okay, cool. You win. Peace
Thanks.
Right? I can
If
see
you
it.
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a gold bar.
out. They're heavier, so they're harder to throw.
Exactly. That's all I could think of. Or the sword that I was already mentioned. I can't think of anything else because I use a lot of CC clutter
Nope.
that's not in the game. So all the items that I would say is not in the game.
The real game.
Just because you run the podcast, I'm going to say that you'd grab the microphone too. You just take the microphone or your like cat ears and just like stab someone with a pointed something.
100%. Definitely
Grab
cat
the
ears.
cord.
Yep, the cord, the mic, like the wire around the mic. Absolutely. Well, Alex, is that it? You answered all my questions besides one that I had.
I will let you go with your last question.
Okay. Well, ladies, it was an absolute pleasure getting to learn more about this game. My final question would be, is somebody who I use CC for everything in The Sims because as a storyteller, it is very much required to do that. However, The Sims has started to provide more clutter packs in the last, I would say 6 months to a year. I'm giving you the keys to the castle. Design me the best clutter pack and why.
While you're answering that, I have that question written down and I'm like, that's a Stassi classic. I can't take it. That's a Stassi original. I can't ask that one. But it's right there.
I appreciate that.
I think I would do more office clutter stuff.
Okay.
Like there's not enough, like, you have like 2 things of pencils. You have, and then you have like the Post-its with a couple of pencils, random book stacks that don't really match. Like there's a couple of things like you got in like high school and stuff, but I feel like my office, for example, I've got my bookshelf with all of my little knickknacks and different books and stuff. I feel like, we need something that has a little bit more variety in terms of the stuff that you would put in an office, because there's lots of different types of offices. You have the
Mhm.
people who work from home. You have the people who, just have a study for the sake of having a study. Like, I don't know. I think my biggest thing is like office supplies. I love office supplies. It's a real problem in my real life, and we don't have enough of them in The Sims.
I collect office supplies too. I would say maybe like a creators. Like I know we have some, but like we have all these things to paint, but we don't have like a bunch of clutter items for artists. Not in my opinion. Like I would like the paintbrush. We use toothpaste for paint tubes, like
Right.
I know there's like some little bits, like there's a little paint cup from Parenthood, and there's like a little bit, but I think a whole like variety of maybe like different type of artists clutter would be cool, or even photographer clutter.
Mine
So,
is so random.
but then also like what they said about like the cups.
Huh?
Also, there's so
See,
many things.
I think mine, as somebody who lives in the cold 8,000 months out of the year, I want
Mm.
more winter themed things. Give me a sled I can prop up in my garage.
Okay.
Give me that stupid little thing that makes snowballs in the shape of a duck, please. I need like a backyard stuff pack for winter.
Okay.
So shovels and a snowblower.
Where's shoes,
Yeah.
slippers?
Give me
Like,
some boots. We have
I
enough hats.
we do
Like it.
have enough hats. Alex, how about you? What would you pick? Since you're not a
You-
builder.
I know. I think the thing that I find the most when I am building is I love plants. So rather than a brand new one, I think I would go in and do a refresh because hey Sims, remember we have those? That was the thing that was
The
promised.
one
We
time.
talked about it.
Yeah.
I would refresh it's not the blooming, it's not the like greenhouse one, it's the other
Lumen
plant kit.
rooms.
Blooming rooms. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would make it, and this is what people have done with beds, but where the plants are separate from the pots,
yes.
and
Yes.
you have like the ability to slot them in. So you have all these different planters because the amount of, like you said, as Fresh Pick says, scams that I have done of like trying to fit random vases into like the pot holder, I I need. I need the
I
ability to customize my plants.
I agree, but then there's also that like I was watching Quiv who's using CC for one build, and I always think, oh, I want this to be empty. I would love like that one thing that came with the new kitchen kit. I would love that to be empty and no clutter, and I could clutter it myself. But then you'd have to clutter it every single time. So like I would like it to be made like that, but then also separate.
Yes.
Mhm.
But sometimes I don't have the spoons to clutter. Not that fully.
Stassi,
all
what's yours?
all great answers. I have so many because it's all
I can't
TC.
pick.
I really like Pacific creatives. Like a lot of the CC I have is like books, like bookshelf, like specific, like I can make my own bookshelf of whatever books I want. I
Right.
have albums for the wall. I have candles for for our bookcases. Just kind of like I would love to be able to create a custom bookcase, whatever the fuck I wanted on there. It's very, very popular. Other ones I want is food related, like actual food items. Like get me like some Sims Kellogg cereal, okay? Like some bullshit stuff, because then we can open up a grocery store. And I think that's a whole aspect of the Sims that's missing. And then I'm really hoping for a lot of like more like occult clutter. I know we have a castles fucking kid or something coming out in like 6 years, but like maybe something like that of having castle clutter for any of the royal storytellers out there. It really makes a big difference to have clutter like that in the game, because then you're making the royal telling story community a little bit more accessible to everybody instead of having
Yes.
to have a $2,000 laptop to be able to perform the game. Not bitter at all, but these are just
Oh,
the
I
things
feel
I
it.
would do.
I was doing a Dungeons and Dragons build for somebody, Alex, and there's a lot of items of a certain item, and it caused my game to crash a few times.
What item
You're
was
welcome.
Coin.
Ah.
I guess I can spoil it, even though it does, because I don't know if I showed you a picture. I have a treasure room So there's a pile of coins.
Okay.
I think Nicole, did I send you? I sent you the screenshot, I think.
You sent me something else that made your game crash.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, I sent that to Alex too. No, I have a treasure room and it has a giant pile of coins.
I
Thank
do
you,
need to see
Toolmod.
this though.
He'll get to see it on Sunday. So when this is airing, he will be touring that build. So
Please send me a photo because I need to see a gold room. Because
Oh,
all
yeah.
I imagine is Scrooge McDuck jumping in or Schmunk. I think I pronounced that incorrectly. Good
The
old Schmunk.
dragon.
The dragon. Yes,
Yeah.
from The Hobbit. Well, everybody, it's
I
been
had one more.
Yeah.
Wall
for it.
art, like not just paintings or whatever, but like we have like I have like a little moon and I have a little mermaid and just like little bits of like wall decoration because I love a good gallery wall.
Very, very
I like
good.
that.
That's my other one.
Sims, listen, this is what we want. Don't give us
telling you.
You don't
Yeah,
listen to us. Talking about us.
oh, I'm convinced I'm on Daddy EA's radar. They just gave us the literal pack I've been talking about for a year. So I'm just gonna start plugging the same thing. And in
There
a
you go.
year from now, if I get it, I'm like, Daddy, I am the problem child that I finally broken into, and you can finally pay attention to me. But anyways, ladies and Alex, it has been an absolute pleasure. Getting
Thank you
to
for
learn
having
more.
us.
Yes,
Of
thank you.
course,
Absolutely.
about
It's a
the
good
Clutter
time.
Wars. It was actually a pleasure to listen to this. It's fun to just sit back and listen once in a while. But before we cap this off for the rest of the night and we, part our separate ways, where can we find you guys? And we'll start with Pacific Creative.
Oh, all right. Well, my main platform is Twitch, twitch.tv/Pacific Creative, all one word. I am also on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I have the accounts and also on YouTube. If it's not Pacific Creative, it's Pacific Creates. If you do go to my Twitch page, I have a link tree. It's also on my Instagram, so it takes you to all the places.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna see if I got this right. Quiv, hey.
Hey.
Where can we find you?
I am mainly on Twitch with it's Quiv Hey is the channel name, but it's Quiv Hey is my handle on everything. But as I say all the time to my chat, I'm in my boomer era and still learning how to use social media effectively. So Twitch is where you'll find me the most, but I do try to post on like Twitter occasionally.
I love it. NicholeMakes, where can we find you?
I started with Instagram, so I'm there a lot. And then Twitch. NicholeMakes on Twitch. I try to stream 3 days a week. Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
Amazing. And last but certainly not least, the amazing host of this episode, Alex, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Awful Gamer pretty much everywhere: Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. I have a TikTok. I don't know what I do there.
I have one too.
And because we've plugged this many a times and I'm stealing this inside joke, also at Gmail.
Yes. Sorry, that gets me every time.
It's just so iconic. I can't not.
It is, honestly. That's honestly it. I love it. Well, everyone, thank you so much for coming. Please go check out the Clutter Wars. Please go check out everybody below. The links will be below to check everybody out on this lovely call. If you like this podcast, please consider subscribing to it and reviewing it. I super appreciate it. I'd love to get to 30 reviews by the end of the year. Love you guys. Love my new listeners. Love my returning listeners. Love you just in general. If you're listening to this, if you would like to check out my Sim story, please go check out the Rose Chronicles. Chapters are, let's say, monthly. Let's throw monthly around right now. I have 2 very special projects in the work, and I cannot wait to share them with you. And go check out The Reaper. I play Amy. Go check out Davenport. I also play Amy. I think that's all the fun stuff I'm currently working on. So please stay tuned. We have some really fun, exciting things happening in December and February of next year. So.
Stasia also lies. Please go follow them on Instagram at StasyJ, or follow this podcast on Instagram at StasyJ, the Unplugged Sims podcast. You can also find Stassi on Patreon. That's right. Stassi now has a Patreon. So if you want to support not only this podcast, but also Stassi, you can go subscribe on Patreon, also on YouTube, and just anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find this podcast. So it is on Apple. You can subscribe to it on Apple with a new subscription to get your podcast early, or on Spotify or wherever else you get them.
So for season 3, I'm just taking that.
I'll record the outro for you.
Thank you. Because I'm like the worst at it. I'll be like, I'm everywhere and nowhere at the same time. But anyways, everyone, thank you so much for coming here today. Thank you for Alex for hosting this podcast. And thank you, ladies, so much for coming here and sharing more about the Clutter Wars. Please go check out the Clutter Wars. They are on Twitch. If you have any further questions about them, please reach out to these lovely ladies on this chat. They'll be more than happy to help you. And have a great rest of your night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.